Here is what you need to know to be successful for the Garden City High School snare line. First of all, we need to understand that all the material is based on the rudiments that were also tested on in the audition here. They serve as the words that make up our show music and our cadences, everything we play. One of the most important aspects that I'll be looking for in the audition, dynamic contrast between the accents and the taps. Accents are indicated in the music by the sideways V's, and I'm sure we've seen them already before this, but there needs to be a big difference. It needs to be totally obvious that there's an accent there. And when there's an accent, it needs to be obviously louder, which means we also need to talk about how we make things louder and softer. And we're not going to make things louder just by hitting the drum harder. We're going to be a little bit more precise. It's going to be based on the stick height. Okay? So the taps, which are the notes that don't have an accent, are going to be pretty low. You're going to hear me all season talking about keeping the taps low. And that's because we want the accents to really pop out. Accents can go all the way up here, or they can go all the way up here. Depends on the dynamic overall that we're in. Okay? Those are accents, and these are taps. And we practice these and make them happen at the faster tempos by using different stroke types. So there are 4 of them, and it's all based on if the hand is playing an accent or a tap, and then what it has to play next. Okay, so if we look at the paradiddle rudiment, the first note of every group of 4 is accented. It's going to look and sound like this. Right? So the first thing that we use, the stroke type, is called a downstroke. It starts high because it's accented, and then it ends low because the next thing that the right hand plays are soft notes. So it's going to be a downstroke there. And when we do downstrokes, all I'm doing is I'm squeezing the stick at the moment of impact for a split second. Then I'm relaxing so that my wrist doesn't absorb all the energy. If you don't do this, then over time, you will lose the ability to use your hands for most things. And I don't want that for you. Okay? The next thing that happens after this downstroke in the right is a left. Next thing that left does is an accent. So this is going to be what's called an upstroke. It starts low, ends high. Like we're touching a hot stove. We pull away really fast. That's what that's going to be. It's kind of a weird motion, but it's kind of fun. So enjoy it. Okay? So far we have that. A right downstroke and a left upstroke. And when you're practicing this at first, you want to be very deliberate and quick with it. Okay, so that you can get it in your brain faster. Okay? And after that, we have 2 taps in the right. Okay? And note how the taps sound the same as that upstroke. As much as we can. Okay? Then it's the same stroke types when it repeats on the left. It's going to be a left downstroke, right? Then a right upstroke, and then 2 taps on the left. Okay? So you want to practice it like this at first, nice and slow, but moving quick. So when you speed it up, you keep that dynamic contrast. Okay? We only have to go up to 120 beats per minute at the quarter note for the audition. So it's not that fast. But you'll need to go through that process of different stroke types. Okay? So first stroke type, just to review and finish defining all of them. The first one is the downstroke. used when you play accents that have to next have that hand play a soft note. Okay? An upstroke is the opposite. It starts low and ends high. It's when you play a tap, but the next thing the hand plays has to be an accent. Alright? That's an upstroke. Okay? Now, the last two are simpler. The next one is called a tap, and this one, it starts low, ends low. Okay? That's it. The key thing to watch here is to make sure you're not doing an extra lift that you don't need, because you'll just have to end up pulling your punch, right? The starting stick height is already where you have to be. That's the key to getting the dynamic contrast that I want. So full strokes, the last one, they start high and end high, like you're dribbling a basketball. This happens when the same hand has to do two accents in a row.